Well, the conversation today is all about tariffs, and the truth is, none of us know what will happen. But here's what we do know. Supply chains thrive on predictability, and when that predictability vanishes, costs spike, inventory piles up, and businesses are forced into last-minute expensive decisions. The real pain is making high-stakes moves with no visibility into what comes next. Today we're talking to Nick Geary, a simulation consultant with SimWell. Nick's going to walk us through a live model showing us how companies can pressure test different scenarios, find the weak spots before they break, and make confident decisions even in the face of uncertainty. Nick, walk us through some of the core inputs we got here. What are the key data points that are making this model so powerful?
Yeah, no problem. Thank you, Marcus, for having me. Happy to share. So this is Any Logistics. This is our core supply chain tool. Just to give a brief overview of what we're looking at here, up on top here, we have the three main categories of different solutions Any Logistics offers. So we have greenfield analysis, network optimization, and simulation. Bunch of different projects that we could dig right into, and a big old map of what we're seeing in our model. Down here, we do have our rows and columns and all the different tables that we're able to fill up. So right off the bat here, we have our customers in the model, we have our DCs and factories within the model, and basically how everything connects. So here, for example, is our paths table. The paths is how we calculate the transportation costs, which in supply chain, that's 90% of the business is figuring out what is the cheapest way to transport material from A to B, B to Z.
Outstanding. When you have a model like this, what assumptions and constraints do you bake into it, and how does that actually impact the results?
Yeah, most definitely. Now, everyone knows that their warehouses can't fit unlimited inventory, and nor do you want to hold that infinite inventory itself. So within the model here, we could have different things like different processing costs for outbound shipping costs, inbound shipping costs. We could add different limitations of around, distance to customer, or how far a certain distribution center should be shipping to a customer. So for example, on this line right here, we have a 2-day truck. We are able to put stuff, maximum throughputs, minimum throughputs, but also add a distance limit. So in this instance, we have a 600-mile limit to say, hey, we could take this route at this cheaper price, but hey, we're only able to travel within that 600 miles, for instance.
Is that an ideal use case for simulation? And if so, what makes it such a strong fit?
Yeah, so in Any Logistics, there's actually a dedicated table with logic built in to handle tariffs. So when we run those different scenarios with tariffs included, we're able to actually fit in our source, our destination for what specific products, the type of tariff it is, whether it be a compound or mixed. And then we could add in, based on the cost of a unit, what that tariff is actually going to apply to, which then we could see in the ending results, how does that affect your network as a whole.
All right, Nick, I'm really looking forward to seeing this. Now, you're going to be walking us through a scenario where we have a company that's getting sourcing products from one country, products going to another country. There might be tariffs on both sides. Walk us through some of the core inputs that you've built into your model and how you've used them to make the model realistic.
So in the model that I'm showing here today, as you can see here, we have a map. We have our supplier here down in Mexico. We have a factory over there in Cincinnati and a handful of distribution centers around the country. As you can see here, we do have some customers up here to the north, up in Canada. So one of the ways that we're able to implement tariffs into the model is, as you can see here, we have from our supplier down in Mexico to our factories, we implement, the tariff that's going around for the 25% along with a fixed tariff on top of that. And then on the flip side here, we have from our distribution centers to our Canadian customers with that same tariff of, 25% with a $100 fixed. One of the things that we're able to do here is show, based on the type of tariff, whether it be a mixed or a compound, we could choose different methods of calculating that tariff cost to the customer.
We're seeing a lot of data points on the screen here. How does it turn into a dashboard so we can actually compare these different scenarios side by side?
We'll go over to Power BI to really show that off. For all the models that we build, we always build a historical baseline, and then we run our scenarios on top of it. And as you can see here in our just our side-by-side dashboard, this one specifically was looking at truckload customers versus parcel customers and how different greenfield sites changes their network. So up here you have your transportation costs between them and then the different volumes flowing to each of the customers, whether it goes from a warehouse or directly from a bigger distribution center.
When you build something like this, obviously when companies hear 25% tariff, 20% tariff, or no tariff, it creates a lot of decisions that need to be made very quickly. How quickly can this model run and show you those different scenarios?
We have all the data built into the model, which we would take care of here at SimWell. It's as simple as clicking run. All the outputs are all in standardized templates. So we take it, put it into our Power BI dashboards, and then we're able to add more scenarios that we're able to compare to.
Final question for you. This is a big picture one. When you look at the challenges that we're hearing right now about figuring out what happens with tariffs or what may or may not happen with tariffs, is this a great use case for simulation? Is it tailor-made for this?
Yes, exactly. I think a tool like this is almost necessary in these days. With such uncertainty between labor and tariffs coming in and all different costs, whether it be inflating or deflating, we really want to be able to come up with a tool to make proper data-driven decisions so you can feel confident in the decisions that you're making.
Terrific. Thanks a lot, Nick. Well, one thing's for sure, uncertainty isn't going anywhere. The companies that can see around corners and plan for what's next, they won't just survive, they're going to dominate. If that's you, visit us at simwell.io.